So it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to the Galactic 2 astronauts. And so sitting here with us, if you didn't already know, is astronaut 011, Jon Goodwin. We have astronaut 012, Keisha Schahaff, and astronaut 013, Anastatia Mayers. Thank you all for being here today. Now, before we jump into the questions, I'd be remiss not to just remind us of why this is such a historic mission today. And so I don't want to miss any, so I'm just going to look down. But this is ours, Virgin Galactic's first private astronaut commercial flight, but also our third flight in just over 3 months. And we flew the first Olympian with Jon, and also just the second person with Parkinson's ever to have gone to space. We flew the first female astronauts from the Caribbean and the first astronauts from Antigua and Barbuda. Anna, you're also the youngest person to have ever gone to space. And today, we saw the most women flown in a single mission to space. And so, history making for so many reasons. And then before we jump in, I also just want to thank New Mexico. You know, it's so important for us to recognize the patience and the support from the community. You know, we are here at Spaceport America, we're here in New Mexico. It's this incredible landscape that our astronauts get to look back on. And so just thank you as well to everyone that makes this happen and has supported us over the years. And I think as well, the impact hasn't just been felt here. For all of us that were watching the live stream, you know, we had that incredible crowd out in Antigua with Prime Minister Brown, with Sir Richard Branson, and with one of our own astronauts, 006, Christopher Huey. And then we also had some of the sort of largest Parkinson's nonprofit organizations also hosting watch parties all over the UK. So I think we've all just been kind of overwhelmed, frankly, with just the amount of support that we've seen around the world, but certainly in the UK and Antigua. But I think that's enough from me. So to kick things off, Jon, I'm going to come over to you first. I mean, how was it? How was the experience?
It was far more dramatic than I imagined it would be. It was the pure acceleration, Mach 3 in 8.5 seconds was completely surreal. And the re-entry was a lot more dramatic than I imagined it would be. In fact, I would have said it was out of control if I didn't know anything different. But it was a completely surreal experience. But the most impressive thing was looking at Earth from space. Just the pure clarity, was very moving.
Oh my gosh.
Quite surreal. And but without a doubt, the most exciting day of my life.
I have to say it was amazing just being down here watching the live stream. We could see you all on the screen, and it was just you all went straight to the windows. So we saw that as well. But Keisha, I'll come to you. I mean, how was it for you?
I would say everything that Jon said, I felt that, but I'm still up there. I'm not here yet. I'm still up there, and it's just amazing that you can land so smoothly on the runway coming back from space. That was the most amazing. I mean, looking at Earth was the most amazing, but knowing that, you know, you don't have to come pick me up in the middle of the desert somewhere because the parachute landed wherever. But it was so comfortable. It was really the best ride ever. And you could say, I would do this again, and I would love to do this again. But I'm still there right now.
Amazing. Yeah. And Anna?
Wow. I was shocked at the things that you feel. Mm-hmm. You are so much more connected to everything than you would expect to be. Like, you felt like a part of the team, a part of the ship, a part of the universe, a part of Earth. It was incredible, and I'm still starstruck.
I have no idea how you find the right words this soon. But let's open it up now to questions. Do we have one Oh, great.
I'm Susan with the Associated Press here from New Mexico. So monumental day for you all. And I know, Jon, you've been waiting for so long for this. So maybe you could talk a little bit about more how it met your expectations or even surpassed them. But more importantly, did you expect you were going to be outnumbered by these lovely ladies on your first space flight?
I've waited 18 years. I signed up in September 2005. I was the fourth person to do so. And I certainly never expected two attractive young ladies to be with me. I'm not sure my wife would have, who's been fantastic, Pauline, in supporting me on my exploits over the years. But it exceeded my wildest dreams, the experience today. It was just, as I said just now, just completely surreal.
Hi guys, Ursel Charles Jr., ABS TV Radio out of Antigua. Congratulations to everyone on the flight today. My question obviously for both Keisha and Anastasia. I wanted to ask, having now known that we had thousands of people gather in Antigua, Barbuda, pride all across the country today. Keisha, as a coach, I wanted to ask you, what's your word for those Antiguans who may seem, you're from a tiny island, not able to ascribe to the heights that others might have. And Keisha, as a young person, what's your message for perhaps young Antiguans and Barbudans aspiring to be where you are?
Thank you so much, and that's a very good question. I feel so honored. It's such a beautiful feeling knowing that our nation is giving this great support, and thank you so much for that. And we have to go beyond our fears. We have so much big dreams. A lot of times we're afraid to even voice it because it's too big and we don't want to be shut down by our dreams. But it is okay to dream big, and it is okay to voice your dream, and you will be uncomfortable trying to get to that dream. But this is how we stretch ourselves, and you gotta go beyond your limit, and that's how you get there. Don't worry how to get there. The universe will figure that out for you. You just keep taking that step and that next step, and you never know how things will align for you. It did for me. If it can, for me, it can for anyone else.
As someone so young, I definitely do understand where a lot of the self-doubt comes from. But as my mom said, everyone's dreams are valid, and there is always a possibility for them to come through. And I think people just need to trust in themselves and trust that if you really want this and you are dedicated to getting it, that things will work out, and that you just need to keep doing the right things at the right moments, and you'll know when it's right.
Chris Buxton from the Daily Mirror newspaper. Congratulations to them all. My question's to Jon. It's twofold, really. I'll try and get two questions out of this. Firstly, how does this compare to competing in the Olympics? But more importantly, what message does this send to Parkinson sufferers around the world, and the message that you've got for them? Thank you.
To answer your first question, competing in the Olympics is obviously a fair achievement. But we didn't manage to get on the rostrum, which is the aim. I mean, the Olympic motto is not the winning, but the taking part. But that's a load of rubbish, because you don't get to the Olympics unless you want to win. Now, remind me of your second part of the question.
I was asking Jon, what message does your voice today, what you achieved from Parkinson's sufferers, send to other people, other Parkinson's sufferers?
Yes. Yeah, as far as Parkinson's is concerned, I mean, one of the nicest things for me was the acceptance by Virgin Galactic, because when I signed up in September 2005, I didn't have Parkinson's. And when 9 years ago, contacted the disease, I thought, that's the end of me going into space. They have done, obviously, various health checks and everything else over the years. and they've never stopped me doing what I wanted to do, which I think is, they need an enormous amount of credibility for that. But I'm hoping that I instill in other people around the world, as well as people with Parkinson's, that it doesn't stop you doing things that are out of the normal. If you've got something that's, some illness that's inflicted you. So I just hope the good comes out of that as far as other Parkinson's people suffering.
Hi, Stacey Liberatore with Daily Mail. Congratulations, guys. John, I'm about to tear up from what you just said, so bear with me. But I have a question for all three of you. I mean, now that you've been to space and back, what's next? I mean, you think like that would be the ultimate goal, but I feel like you've done it already. So do you have more plans to do anything more exciting, adventurous in the future?
I definitely think that this experience has grounded me and kind of awoken me, sorry. I definitely feel a lot more connected to Earth itself and a lot more motivated to explore and be even more adventurous. So I think for me in the future, it's just going to be adventure and searching for the most incredible experiences. Obviously, nothing will top this, but I'm sure other things can get close enough.
So I would say that definitely to make a strong impact in motivating, especially the younger ones, moving in that direction. But this experience also has given me this beautiful feeling that if I can do this, I can do anything. So, you know, just keep taking a step and the next step and the next step and see what comes. So that's my answer.
Next. Sophie, anybody?
Good afternoon, all. My name is Johnny Coker with KRWG Public Media. I just had a really, and this is just for whoever wants to field the question. How has, lifting off from New Mexico, how has your perception of New Mexico changed since you've been here? And, even after this space flight, do you think you would have any plans in the future maybe to come back after the experiences you've had here?
I've been really impressed with New Mexico. I hadn't been before until last month for the first time. And it's sheer beauty and open spaces. I mean, in England, we've got 68 million people and 30 million cars. And here they seem to have just the opposite. I mean, each day we've been traveling backwards and forwards from our residence, which takes us about 40 minutes. We don't see another car. It's an unreal world compared with home. And that pure luxury of saturation that we have in the UK, even though it's a very attractive island, New Mexico has opened my eyes to what a beautiful country you have.
I was actually just going to quickly flip to one question that we got from folks that couldn't join us. And I mean, this goes to any of you or all of you. But how did you feel this morning? And like, how have you sort of prepared ahead of this incredible flight?
This morning, actually last night, I was getting second thoughts a little bit. It was like, oh my God, I'm doing this. What am I doing? But this morning I woke up and I sat up in bed and I was like, I'm ready. Like, I just felt it in myself that there was nothing else that I wanted to do but this right now.
Wow. Keisha, how about you?
Last night I didn't sleep very well. I had so much excitement and at the same time anxiety because I wanted to feel very healthy. I wanted to be so ready for it. And I'm afraid of, like, I might get digestion problems. Like, these weird things were coming up in my head. Like, I don't know why. But you know, I did get a good 2-3 hours rest, and then I woke up feeling really ready. And I went outside and I just looked up at the skies, and it was remarkably clear.
Yeah.
I could see the stars, I could see the moon, and it felt like the universe was connecting with me again and says, "You're invited, come." So I was ready.
Wow. I have to say, the moon this morning, it did seem that little bit brighter.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And how about you, John?
I mean, the first thing this morning, I got up quite early, we all did, and it was as we left, got into the car, there's a future astronaut. And I said, the next time I get into this car, I'll be an astronaut on the return journey. And that was the realization after 18 years waiting that the day had arrived.
Wow. I can't keep a dry eye at the moment.
Right over here, Alana.
We got one in the room?
Hi, I'm Eli. I'm with the El Paso Times. I had a question for Anastasia. You're the youngest person to go to space. What does that mean for your generation, our generation of young people? What does that mean to you?
It's a big question.
That's a hard one.
I think it's one of the most inspiring things that could ever happen. I think that it really does just tell us that we can do anything that we set our minds to. Anything that we want, we can achieve it. And I hope that it's just motivation for other young people to act like to dedicate their time and their efforts to get to reaching their goals.
Yeah. I mean, I think just even seeing the last couple of weeks and like how many people have been inspired by your story. I mean, I think that's the most incredible thing about this experience is it doesn't end now. It's sort of, this is the next part of the beginning. So it'll be really exciting to see, you know, what this really will mean to young people. So have we got another question in the room?
This is Elva with the Las Cruces Bulletin, and I'm going to ask you my favorite question, which is, what did you have in your pockets and why?
I guess I'll go first. I will give visual aid as well. Here I've got a ring from my boyfriend wrapped. I took this because he means a lot to me and this means a lot to him. I also have a bunch of photos of the most important people in my life. And since I couldn't take them physically, I took them in photos, and I hope that they will appreciate that. So I appreciate their presence with me. I also took a pin from my university. They supported me through all of this, and I hope to support them equally as well.
Amazing. So what I took with me, I took little things that reminded me as well of people that I love the most. I took this crystal bracelet that my husband gave me when he came back from a trip. So he's with me here. The flag represents his nation as well, from Israel. I took a picture of my father, my late father, and my mother and my daughter. So, and some crystals that I really love. And the jewelry that I'm wearing, they're jewelry that was gifted to me by very good friends. My best friend, last time I saw her, it's when I was 16, so I'm wearing the necklace. And these are from other friends that are very good to me as well.
I had a picture of my grandson, Sebastian, 4 rings that belonged to my wife, Pauline, and a badge of Stafford and Stone Canoe Club, which Pauline and I, when we came back from the Olympics in '72, started up a centre of excellence for canoeing in Stone, which is very close to Stoke-on-Trent where we live. And when the lad from Stone, who was 6 years of age, went to watch this competition at the centre that we built, he said to his mum and dad, "I'd like to take part in doing that." And when he was 11, he joined the club. And the Rio Olympic Games, he won the first time a British person had won an Olympic gold medal at the Olympics. And my belief is if we hadn't started that canoe club, he probably would have never got in the canoe. So it was very satisfying to take that into space with me.
So I think we've got time for one more question.
Okay. Hi, I'm Isabella Martinez. I'm from KBIA ABC 7. I have a question for Keisha and Anna. So being the first mother-daughter duo, we always say mother's advice is the most valuable advice. We always look up to our mothers. So what advice do you give Anna after this experience?
My greatest advice for Anna is the example I set. Anna is not a kid that would listen to me like that. She has to see what I'm doing, and I have to explain everything very nicely to her. And she has to give me her opinion as well. So my advice to her is I'm living by example and being adventurous within myself, being true to myself, stretching myself, and all the things that I would want for her, I'm doing that with myself. So I'm just being the example.
So I think just before we close, you know, as we started at the very beginning, there's lots of people watching everywhere. Is there anything that any of you would like to say to those watching at home that are tuned in right now?
To Antigua and Barbuda, I love you. Thank you so much for your support. And one other thing that I did take to space, I took Antigua and Barbuda sand, the pink sand, and I also took our flag. And I took my favorite shell, so just to finish up that question. And, and then the next thing, to my mother and my daughter, Tatiana, I love you very much, and thank you for your support. I'm sorry you couldn't be here with me, but you are with me because I took your picture. And to all my cousins, all my supporters, family, everybody, thank you.
Wow.
Going off what my mom said, I guess, thank you to Antigua, and I can't wait to see all of you soon. I want to say hi to my dad, and I love you so much. Oh, sorry. I also want to say hi to my flatmates. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Bailey. Hi, Logan. Hi, Ethan. Making you guys all feel included, and I can't wait to see you guys.
And then over to you, John. Is there anything to those watching back home?
Yeah, over the years, I've had tremendous support from so many people, but today has blown my mind away of the interest and support that we've had, because I never expected anything like this. And thank you, everybody.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for just being here and talking with everyone. I know we probably didn't get to every question in the room, so please come and find myself or one of the team. We're happy to get any and all answers to you. But I think that is a wrap, so thank you so much.
Thank you. And one last thank you, if it's possible.
One last thank you?
Yeah. One big thank you for Virgin Galactic crew, to Richard Branson for making this possible, because without this winning, we won't be here as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
for the training and for everything that everyone has done for us. They've put so much support and so much effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
The subcommittee hearing on unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAPs, will come to order. Welcome, everyone. Without objection, the chair may declare a recess at any time. Additionally, without objection, the following members are waived onto the subcommittee for the purpose of participating in today's hearing: Mr. Burchett of Tennessee, Ms. Luna of Florida, Mr. Getz of Florida, Mr. Burleson of Missouri, Mrs. Ocasio-Cortez of New York, and Mr. Ogles of Tennessee. Without objection, so ordered. For today's subcommittee hearing, both the chair and ranking member will have 10 minutes for opening remarks. We may both be giving some of those minutes to other members of our party. I'm now going to recognize myself for 10 minutes. I'm actually going to try to get out of here in about 4, and then we'll give it to some of my friends over here. Good morning and welcome to the most exciting subcommittee in Congress this week, the Subcommittee on National Security, the Border, and Foreign Affairs, for discussion of unidentified anomalous phenomenon. I'd like to thank the brave military pilots and personnel, such as the witnesses on the panel today, for sharing their stories on how they've engaged UAPs, which has brought attention to this matter. Curiosity and speculation from all walks of life have generated interest in studying what UAPs are and what threats they may pose. I will say that when I was younger in school, I read a book, a 1966 book called Flying Saucers, Serious Business, and for a while, when I was a little bit younger, I thought it was the most important issue out there. The lack of a transparency regarding UAPs, which was one of the themes of that book, in any event, it's led to interest in studying what UAPs are and what threats they pose. The lack of transparency regarding UAPs has fueled wild speculation and debate for decades, eroding public trust in the very institutions that are meant to serve and protect them, as is evidenced by the large number of people we have here. I also want to point out in 1966, President Gerald Ford claimed to have seen a UFO, and in 1969 in Georgia, Jimmy Carter claimed to have seen a UFO. So this has led Congress to establish entities to examine UAPs. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2022 established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, to conduct or to coordinate efforts across the Department of Defense and other federal agencies to detect, identify, and investigate UAPs. However, AARO's budget remains classified, prohibiting meaningful oversight from Congress. In addition to AARO's efforts, NASA is leading an independent study on UAPs that will identify how UAP data is gathered from both civilian and government entities that can be analyzed to shed light on the topic. However, despite these offices being established, there lies a pressing demand for government transparency and accountability that cannot be overlooked, and that's been a problem that's been around for 50 years. The Biden administration handling of the Chinese spy balloon that violated U.S. airspace is one example how the government is not prepared for these. The Biden administration's description of events has shown that the government continues not to be forthright. Between the Chinese balloon being shot down and 2 UAPs subsequently shot down following the event earlier this year, the U.S. government spent $1.5 million in taxpayer dollars on missiles, yet we have seen little clarity from the Biden administration. We must demand transparency from the Department of Defense, our intelligence community, and our defense industry on the UAP work. We're going to ask some questions about that today. Congress recognizes the subject of UAPs as multifaceted and requires a careful, data-driven approach. Today, we'll see clarity from these witnesses' testimonies, or we'll seek clarity as to what can be done to improve reporting for military and civilians and remain committed to objective inquiry. Congress should work to ensure that knowledge is not driven by fear. Today, we are not just debating the existence of UAPs, we are deliberating on the principles that define our republic, which is a commitment to transparency and accountability. I look forward to hearing from our witnesses today about ways we can improve government efficiency and openness when it comes to UAPs. I thank each of you for your presence here today and for your dedication to safeguarding the interests of the American people. I look forward to your testimony. Now I'm going to turn it over for 2.5 or 3 minutes to Representative Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. I want to thank everybody for making this happen today. And I want to remind everybody this is a nonpartisan issue. This has nothing to do with party politics. I think the cover-up goes a lot deeper than that. I also want to thank my colleagues, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, sitting beside me here, Jared Moskowitz, my friend across the aisle, has an incredible mind, and I'm anxious to hear his questions. My buddy Eric Burleson, and it's not in my notes here, but Matt Gates. If it hadn't been for Matt Gates, myself, him, and Luna would still be down at Eglin Air Force Base trying to get some answers. He's got an incredible legal mind. Also, I know I saw it in the crowd there, George Knapp, my buddy Jeremy Corbell. They're not witnesses, but they've provided some statements on this subject, and I seek unanimous consent to enter